Alright folks, Post here, welcome back to another Pokemon Masters video, and today we're going to go over SKYLA and SWANNA's Synchrid, and you know, go over some builds, talk about the lucky skill, all that stuff, and yeah, so SKYLA SWANNA, their Synchrid expansion is dropping tonight, right, with an extra dupe that you could get with the Flying type training event, so there's only one extra dupe, not two, that's why we're looking at the 2 out of 5 Synchrid. At the moment, unfortunately, we don't have the 3 out of 5 one. We'll talk about it briefly as well, but Swanna's good. Swanna's pretty good. It got a lot of stuff, right? And I'm probably not gonna go over the base Swanna because I think everyone knows what Swanna does at this point, right? It's a free to play unit, everyone knows. Heals, potion, sharply raises defense of everyone, sharply raises speed. That's basically all you need to do, and then 1 gauge move. So, in terms of Swanna Synchrid, 2 out of 5 it's okay. It's not as good as it. I mean, it's really good, but it's not as good as it could be, right? A lot of the really good stuff are behind 3 out of 5, but 2 out of 5 is still really serviceable, right? It's probably the 2nd or 3rd best healer in the game, right? For one. The reason why it's not as good as Pikachu at the moment because again, it's only 2 out of 5, and Pikachu has both Master Healers, and Swanna has MP Potion Refresh. But unfortunately, Swanna's MP Potion MP Refresh is Refresh 2, and Pikachu's is not that. Pikachu is MP Refresh 3, so 10% more for Pikachu to refresh the Potion MP than Swanna, right? But Swanna, I do think, is overall better unit than Pikachu to use in Villa. And it's close, but they do really different things, right? Pikachu is more like of a tech unit, tech plus healer, and then that also does okay damage, and Swanna is like a pure support plus healer, right? And tank, sort of. It's a pretty decent tank unit, right? If you look at its stats, right? Swanna, you could actually get some good defensive stats out of Swanna, right? At level, I don't know why it doesn't go up there, but anyways, let's just go max promotion, right? But yeah, good defensive stats. This obviously is at 20 out of 20, but even without 20 out of 20, you got good stats, right? Because if you're at like 250 out of 20 out of 20, you're doing good, right? And also good HP as well. Speed, not the best, but it's not terrible either. All right, you can work with that. So, anyways, going back to its grid. So the main stuff in its grid and the essentials are basically these, right? So these are the essentials. You want Take Flight MP Refresh, you want Potion MP Refresh, and Master Healer 1, both Master Healers, right? So this gives you, I think, 10% more on your heals, so your Potion, instead of healing 40%, should heal around 60%, right? And then Potion MP Refresh obviously gives you a 30% chance of refreshing your Potion MP, so you could get another Potion afterwards, right? And then Take Flight MP Refresh is 40% chance to MP refresh your Take Flight's MP, right? Again, Swanna is purely a Battle Villa unit. There's not much point using Swanna outside of Battle Villa. I mean, Swanna is still like a solid support outside of Villa, right? You get defenses and speed. More like outside of Villa, you're mainly gonna be using it for speed. Speed support. You're probably not even gonna use Potion, right? But in Villa, Potion, Take Flight, and Swanna's a monster, right? So let's get into a 2 out of 5 build. Again, we're getting a free dupe, so everyone should have 2 out of 5 Swanna. No excuses, right? But yeah, again, like I mentioned before, the very basics of Swanna is you have to get Potion, MP Refresh, 2 Master Healers, and the Take Flight. Obviously, with that, you do need to pick up Take Flight. You need the route to Take Flight, and same for Master Healer. You could either take defense or special defense, depending on what you're facing, right? So either one works, and then you pick up those, right? So you got 22 energy left. If this was 3 out of 5, you'd spend all those energies on a lot. There's a lot of stuff you could spend your energy on at 3 out of 5. But at 2 out of 5, you're kind of just stuck. You don't have really that many things to spend your MP on, right? You could use Unbending, so your defenses can't be lowered, which is nice. Or you could go Fanfare 2. If you're running Swanna with a Mega, right, since Mega sync moves don't really do much damage, for a second sync move after they've already Mega'd, you could use Fanfare to sharply raise the attack if you don't want to use MP for that, right, although I don't really suggest that. But yeah, you go for unbending, so your defense can be lowered. A lot of Villa units do use Rock Smash a lot, so it's actually quite often that you could get your defenses lowered. So unbending would be a decent move here. Obviously, if your opponent doesn't have any defense lowering moves, there's no point picking up unbending. But after that, you should probably pick up some stats. Speed is always, one of the best things you could pick up, right, in terms of stats. Probably want more speed over here, +7, or not +7, +10, right? And then we got 7 energy left, and you just fill it out with like defenses. It just depends on what units you're facing and the defenses that you want to pick up, right? So yeah, if you're facing something with a lot of special attack, you want to pick up more special defense. If you're facing something with physical defense, that's pretty straightforward, right? As for a build without unbending, if your opponent doesn't lower your physical defenses, just fill it out with like other stats stuff, right? So anyways, as for a budget build for 2 out of 5, you just pick up the essentials and don't worry about anything else, which is basically all this stuff, right? You don't need to pick up unbending, don't need the extra stats. Just if you want to save sync orbs, this is probably what you want to go for. So yeah, let's talk about one more grid that you could also go for is if you're running it with rain, which you can run it with, but it's just at the moment there's not that much use for rain in the game, right? I mean, I guess you could use it so blue's Hurricane is a miss, but blue already has like accuracy buffs. Or I guess if you want to run it with Milotic or something, some other rain units or water types to do damage, then sure, right? But if you are running it in rain, you could obviously go ahead and pick up Refreshing Rain, right? Which is really good because you also heal every time you use Gust, and you will be using a lot of Gust, right? So you go down here and pick this up as well. Unfortunately, I have to pick up an attack +10, which is kind of pointless. But what can you do? Like, you're not even going to use Arrows. If you're going to attack, you're just going to use Gust, right? Since Gust is just so much better. But yeah, and then at the end, just pick up some other stats, stat nodes, all that stuff to finish it off. But yeah, you could do that in rain as well. So let's just briefly talk about the 3 out of 5, because the 3 out of 5 is where it becomes kind of crazy. If we could ever get, support candy next month, a 3-star support candy, that would be really, really good. Or whenever it comes back to give us the next copy. And 3 out of 5 Swanna is actually kind of crazy. So you got your second potion MP refresh. So at this point, when it's 3 out of 5, it's the best healer in the game, right? 2 potion MP refresh 2s, and then you got 2 master healers, right? And then obviously you want to take flight there as well. And then here's where it becomes interesting. There's 2 ways where you could go, right? One is go all the way up here, pick up Gust and Gust move gauge refresh. Let's see, how much do these cost? Yeah, you want to go there. Pick up the move gauge refresh on Gust, so you get more gauges back. Although, depending on how you want to play, because if you do want to use Take Flight, that really doesn't make the MGR that big of a deal, right? And in that case, then you could come up and pick up potentially. Wait, do you have enough for oh no, I was wondering why. Yeah, I had to take those off. But yeah, you could either go for an MGR on Gust or staggering on Gust, right? Unfortunately, unlike Pikachu, you can't get both for Swanna, right? Pikachu could get both Hostile Environment and Move Gauge Regen on Thundershock without, sacrificing one or the other. You don't have to pick and choose between those two. But Swanna, you do have to kind of pick and choose if you want the flinch on Gust or the move gauge refresh on Gust, right? I would personally suggest staggering because flinch is just so good in Villa, right? But if you want move gauge refresh on Gust, that's fine as well, right? And again, you got speed for your whole team. Speed shouldn't be that big of an issue unless you're just using something that's super move gauge heavy, right? But yeah, however, what Swanna has over Pikachu is that second MGR on potion, right? So Swanna really, really good, and also take flight, all that stuff. But unfortunately, we don't have Swanna at 3 out of 5. But at the moment, 2 out of 5, it's still a decent unit, right? A lot of people saying, "Oh, now Swanna's coming out. Well, it's time to say goodbye to Pikachu." You could use 9 units per day in Villa, right? Like when your Swanna potions run out, you use Pikachu, and then use Pikachu's potions, right? It's not like you have to pick and choose between these two. You can use both. You can use both, right? Even on the same team if you really want to. Although that'd be kind of overkill on potions. You probably want to split them up, right? But yeah, you could use 9 units in a run. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one, right? Again, Swanna's Expanded Synchro coming out tonight. That should be fun. Good luck trying to grind this thing. It should be really quick, honestly, as all these training events are. But yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be with this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I will be streaming Jasmine's Helix Summons later tonight when that drops as well, which should be the same time as Swanna's Expanded Synchro drops. So yeah, join in. That should be fun. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.